Hit
Hit it.
No, you got to hit it. Thank you. Alarm's going because it is not time for a transfer watch. It's time for an NBA trade rumors alert.
That sounds so Sports Center.
NBA Trade Central deadline
I can
lock.
see the graphics right now. Welcome to NBA Trade Center lock.
There is a lot going on with the NBA. Draft is later today, Barclays Center. We are in New York. We are not at the Barclays Center. Wish we were, though. Yeah. But in regards to the draft, we have a lot of coverage with that coming out as we speak. In terms of what we're going to be talking about right now, the NBA Trade Center Transfer Deadline Watch Center. Francis, tell them what Squarespace can do for you before we get into it.
Yeah, Squarespace has helped us get to New York here, and as always, we thank our sponsors over at Squarespace. And if you want to build your own website, head over to squarespace.com/TYT. Start your free trial and get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace, build it beautiful. But tell me what else is going on in the NBA draft and what's surrounding the NBA draft. Other players moving outside of the draft, I heard.
As always, there's rumors. But a lot of these rumors have a lot of credibility, a lot of weight behind them, starting with DeMarcus Cousins, who I would be shocked if he doesn't leave Sacramento, whether on his word or George Karl's, which we'll get to in just a second. But the trade, two really likely scenarios. One is that the quick one is he goes to Boston. In return for the Marcus Smarts, their 16th pick, their 28th pick. They have first-round picks to give. They have second-round picks to trade, which would be an interesting fit for him because when we talked with Bill Simmons, the WWE Raw event a few months back, he made the joke the Celtics are one superstar away from being an unbelievably complete, great, dominant team again because they have all the pieces around them. It would be very much be the right piece is DeMarcus Cousins. I think he can fit on just about any NBA roster, but on that Celtics team, you can stop complaining that the East is not as good with as many players coming back from injury next year in Paul George and Indiana, but someone like DeMarcus Cousins going to Boston makes Boston a top 5 team in the East easily, potentially a top 3 team in the East. Other than that, Cousins to the Lakers, and Los Angeles does not like playing bad basketball.
Someone that needs him. I think it's
Los Angeles hasn't seen a bad run of basketball like they have in the last 2 years. I think in their their history.
Well, the Lakers, you mean?
Yes, the Lakers. Clippers, we'll get to them in a second too. But the DeMarcus Cousins to Lakers trade gets very complicated because it would involve probably the Orlando Magic as well, so a 3-team trade, which would send Cousins to the Lakers. The Lakers would send Jordan Clarkson, great rookie point guard who came off a fantastic season, made I think the All-NBA rookie second team, and deservingly so. Julius Randle, who they drafted last year with the 6th or 7th overall pick, unfortunately had a knee injury and now is coming back from that. He and they would be sent with their number 2 overall pick to the Magic. Magic would send Nikola Vucevic, fantastic young center from Europe, over to the Kings, which actually would be a good fit for the Kings.
And for the neutral fans out there who are probably sitting there thinking that they've just watched The Matrix again, they're so confused right now. I am trying to piece together because there is some NBA fans in the UK as well, and they want to know. And I just started to pick up on it as more so as I became a big fan of the sport. Is that franchises will use their ability to have a first-round draft pick to bring in different trades from around, especially
a lottery draft pick, a top 10 pick, because of the value of it. Now, certain drafts are more stacked than other drafts. I think this draft has a lot of potential pieces to championship teams. I don't know how many superstars or hidden gems, but keep in mind, Kobe Bryant was not a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
People like Michael Jordan was taken 3rd or 4th, 3rd. Regardless, what becomes interesting about trading those picks is you don't know who they become, but this is a draft that might be worth doing because it's deeper.
Yeah.
And it's not going to end with the number 1 overall pick being Allen Iverson and then continuing to go through the rest of the draft with not as many people going on. In addition to DeMarcus Cousins and the Kings front, a lot of interesting tweets from ex-players that played under George Karl, ex-superstar players, Carmelo Anthony, Andre Iguodala, and DeMarcus Cousins, most recently, Cousins, tweeting out that George Karl's a snake. Two-faced guy. He'll say one thing to you, and then next to your agent. Say one thing to you, next to the owner. But what's interesting about it is, it wasn't that Reddit picked this up. This was not the first time, because DeMarcus Cousins tweeted this out of recent. He used the emojis. Very creative. He put grass, then he put a snake, then he put grass, as you can see. From there, we looked back and we found that Carmelo Anthony said the same thing. He's a snake. We saw that Andre Iguodala, same thing. And it looks like George Karl just wants to get his team from Denver, which doesn't include Carmelo Anthony or Andre Iguodala anymore, back over to Sacramento. He has found success in the NBA. George Karl is a good NBA coach. He just might not be a good human being.
Good man manager?
Probably not. He's not the Doc Rivers, the ego, like being able to calm down the egos of players like Doc Rivers has always been able to do, like he did on Boston, and like he's done a pretty good job with the Clippers so far. Speaking of the Clippers, though.
Interesting.
Dwayne Wade.
I was going to ask about what's happening with D Wade, because another player that I have, he's helped in my love for the game since I was watching the Heat since I came over. And 2010 is when I came over, which is during their prime time with LeBron James coming in. I'm a huge fan of D Wade, but am I right to say that in the last couple of years we just haven't seen the same Dwayne Wade, and we're interested to see if he's going to try and rejuvenate his career? Do you think the Clippers will be a good move?
We make the joke all the time that it's half of a Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Because his knees have just simply given out. His fitness, as you would put it, his health is in question, and it will be for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years of his career if he even makes it to 40 years old.
Yeah.
This has happened with superstars in the past, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, for example. They simply don't have the health to make it. Dwayne Wade, for the first 8 years of his career, was hands down, no debate, a top 3 player in the league.
Yeah.
Single-handedly won the 2006 NBA Finals when he beat the Dallas Mavericks, and had an extra finals on LeBron James. And then LeBron comes over and Chris Bosh comes over. Mario Chalmers gets drafted to the team, a.k.a. the most entitled player in all of Miami Heat's history, and maybe the NBA's history. I don't like Mario Chalmers, if you can't tell. But that superstar team gets put together. They go to 4 straight NBA Finals, and they win 2 of them. 2014 against the Spurs, I mean, Greg Popovich ran trains around, just circles around that Miami Heat team that on paper was a better team, but not as good as Greg Popovich's Spurs were. Better man manager, speaking of. So Dwayne Wade to the Clippers, or possibly the Lakers, or possibly the Celtics, or possibly the Knicks. It's one of those major franchises because they have the money to pay for him. Unbelievably, Dwayne Wade did the right thing. We go from George Karl, who is being called a snake, being a two-faced guy, to Dwayne Wade, who's got that Dirk Nowitzki-like character about him, where he'll take pay cuts to make his team better. To bring LeBron James and Chris Bosh to the Heat, he had to take a big pay cut, not make $20 million a year like Kobe Bryant is, like Carmelo Anthony is, like the superstars of the NBA are. Granted, they seem to not be able to win anymore. And then again, when Luol Deng came over when LeBron left and they needed to bring in some more talent, they got Luol Deng from Chicago. I'm trying to think of a good comp for you to the footballing world.
It's different because there's not any wage caps or anything like that, and plus you're never gonna, if anyone with the teams, like Ronaldo's not gonna take a pay cut to have Gareth Bale coming in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's, some players would do that if their team was suffering, but the teams that are at the highest level don't usually do that. They've got the money to try and to make it
that makes sense.
to make it matter.
So interestingly enough, though, the Miami Heat are going to give Goran Dragic, great point guard, came over from the Suns, and his brother Zoran Dragic. I'm not even making it's not Cliff and Chris Paul, I swear. Although they should be on State Farm commercials for it. The National Bureau of Assists. Miami Heat are going to give him probably a 5-year, $80 million contract. And you know what that means for Dwayne Wade? We can't pay you even more. We can't pay you any money. We have to pay you less money.
Good thing his wife
Wade's gone.
Good thing his wife makes enough for him.
That's true. She really does. Yeah. What's really frustrating about the Heat in that situation is like Pat Riley. You know, I said Pat Riley when LeBron James left right before, and they signed bumfuck player A and bumfuck player B. That no, Pat Riley's not a moron. He's an unbelievable manager and general manager and coach, and has won a ton of titles. Yeah. Handfuls of titles. Up there with Phil Jackson in terms of titles, right? The problem is, since 2014, Pat Riley has made only the worst decisions you can make as a GM. You let LeBron James walk, you did nothing to help him stay, and now you're going to piss off the only other guy that got you a title in Miami? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah. So he's going to go, and I don't know if Dwayne Wade's going to go to the Clippers, but I think that's the best fit for him. Philadelphia 76ers and their onslaught of good young talent, especially bigs, might go to the Celtics in exchange for some draft picks, Marcus Smart being one of those players who might go along to the 76ers. Unlikely, in my opinion. Jennings for Hardaway, Brandon Jennings of the Bucks, over to the Knicks for Tim Hardaway Jr. Also unlikely because Phil Jackson has gone so back and forth, at least in what he's letting the press know, that it's becoming the same as like these Ronaldo rumors. Is he going to leave Real Madrid? Is Messi going to leave Barcelona? It's the same thing with Phil Jackson. He's not going to let you know. So, like with that one, we might know a few hours from when this clip goes up. Yeah. But I still don't see that being the big move that Phil Jackson's trying to make, although I do believe he'll try to trade that 4th overall pick unless D'Angelo Russell does not get taken 3rd overall in the draft. And lastly, real quick, Kevin Love is not leaving the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I was surprised when I even seen that after how close they just came to winning the finals, and he was injured. Of course, he's going to look for some form of redemption. I don't think that just, even to me as a neutral fan, just didn't stand out as a possibility.
I would like to see Kevin Love make that decision today so we can get it over with, because there's going to be a lot of rumors about he's going to go to the Celtics, he's going to go to the Lakers, he's going to go to the Pistons.
He's not even made a run. He's just been there for a year.
No, I mean, he was dealing with injury problems.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he hasn't even made a run to be able to try and prove himself.
It's the exact same thing as when the Miami Heat were saying, like, oh, Chris Bosh, not the Miami Heat, but when Chris Bosh and that team was put together in 2011, like, Chris Bosh and like being the 3rd wheel.
Yeah.
So like, oh, he's going to leave. You're an idiot to leave, Kevin Love. You're on the best chance to win a championship team next season, regardless what happens with all these moves. Therefore, stay. There's a 0.01% chance. I don't want to say that there's no chance because anything could happen. 0.01%. Put your money on Kevin Love staying on the Cavaliers. The only other big player, Wesley Matthews and LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't know where they're going to go, but I would love a package deal for them to go to the Celtics. Because again, if Cousins falls through and goes to the Lakers, or somehow stays on the Kings with his best friend George Karl, Aldridge and Wes Matthews packaged to go to the Celtics, again, would still make them a top 3 team in the East next season. After figuring out how they work their offense, Brad Stevens, great coach. That is the end of the transfer rumors.
Well, at the end, that means that we have to go back to our friends at Squarespace to thank them for sending us here to New York. If you want to build your own website, head over to squarespace.com/TYT to start your free trial and get 10% off of your first purchase. Man, I'm getting good at this. You know why? Because it's Squarespace. Build it beautiful. Make sure to subscribe to TYT Sports. Jason?